Sharks. My name is Melissa, and I'm here seeking $300,000 for my company, Tranquilo. All babies cry, but the sound is torture. No, literally. The sound of inconsolable crying is actually used on prisoners for psychological torture. So it's no wonder that parents will do and try anything to get their baby to stop crying. And when they can't, they suffer sleepless nights and fatigue. I'm a maternity nurse and an infant crying specialist. I know the secret to stop any fussy baby's wails. The trick is to activate a baby's calming response by mimicking what they experience in the womb. The strong whoosh of mom's heartbeat is as loud as a vacuum cleaner. Combined with being gently jostled at every move mommy makes, babies miss that soothing environment of constant motion and sound. Sure, there are mechanical swings and vibrating chairs, but they lack what babies really crave. So, I developed a portable soothing mat called Tranquilo that mimics these sounds and motions. So the product really works, and parents love it. Some of the feedback that we've received is that it's our most essential baby item besides diapers. It is, I would trade everything in everything that I own to have some sleep, and this product gives me that. So we've had a great success thus far. We've been on the market for sale for about 11 months. During that time, we've gotten great feedback from parents. In the United States, there are 4 million live births per year. That's where I'm from. That's where this product was launched. And those 4 million births, most of the millennial parents are using Facebook, social media to find out about their baby products. And we're capitalizing on that by working with various influencers, mommy bloggers, newborn photographers to leverage our product and get it out there. Like I said, we've been for sale for about 11 months. We have 2 sizes, a small size and a large size. They retail for about $65. We've just been rebranded. We were part of a startup accelerator, so we are starting to get this kind of cheeky type of attitude, because people usually ask me what I do, and I say, I make babies shut the fuck up, which is what we're trying to kind of capitalize on, and probably a little bit less swear terms from a marketing perspective. We've been for sale on our website as well as Amazon.com, but we're starting to move into more local baby boutiques where we're going to hone our retail strategy and ultimately move into big box stores. We've done about $90,000 in sales and sold about 1,500 units during those first 11 months. The biggest challenge that we've been facing recently is our margins, and that's what's thus far been preventing us from really pushing into baby boutiques as well as the bigger box stores. So our margins are currently about 67% and 65%, and we want that target to be around 75%. We know that our cost of goods is way too high. That, as Greg was saying, the startups have challenges with not having clear BOM costs and understanding their product specs and their Gerber files and things like that. So as a maternity nurse, I did not have any of those. I didn't know about those until participating in Mass Challenge. So we are actively working to finalize those and source a new factory and get our targets down. So we plan to reach about 4,000 households this year. We reached just about 2,000 last year, and then ultimately about 40,000 households by the end of 5 years. We just had a patent recently issued several months ago, which covers the array of motors as well as the flexibility of the product, the mat, and we have a trademark on the name Tranquilo. This is my team. I just recently brought on Ashley, who was a COO and marketing expert at a digital platform called Ovuline, which did a baby app, or app within the baby space. So that was great. We just came off of Mass Challenge, which is a global accelerator, but we were part of their Boston program. We beat out about 1,700 other applicants, and were ultimately some of the very few winners of $50,000 in non-equity prize money. But we are seeking $300,000 to get our, get all those files, the Gerber files, get everything together and really push towards the marketing towards the bigger box stores, to have the capital to put money down for a large production run. Are there any questions from the panel? I'm sure you have a ton.
I thought your presentation was awesome. It was really good. It was very much to the point. I liked how you started with a connection to the audience by everybody can't stand the sound of a baby crying. I have 2 babies, they're 14 years old, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, handling.
And they're very cute.
Yes.
That's how they get you.
Yeah. And we have a night nurse that comes to help out and we can know that. Yeah, I can see how this would be useful. And I also like that you had the technical glitch, but you were still able to sort of talk through the problem and not get stuck by depending on the slides. So I think which is really good. If I can make one suggestion is somewhere in there, if you could show like a cutaway of what the internals look like, that would kind of make more of a connection, at least to the hardware audience, to see what are the components that are required.
Pass around some of my components. I'm a hands-on person. So there's 3 layers of foam with motors inside.
And if they get wet, is there a problem with that?
So it's actually encased in a waterproof fabric. And there's actually, we've upped the zipper, so it is actually like a waterproof zipper now. And so, although we could submerge it, I believe it passes like a 30-second submersion test. Obviously, my parents would do that.
It would pass the heat test.
Yes, it would definitely pass a heat test. We actually have one of the hospitals I used to work for. Originally, when I offered the product, I had this idea. I was told I need to offer it to the hospital I worked for. Yeah, you can keep passing around. And they said it was a bad idea, but then the nurses loved it, so when we actually became a product, they purchased it, and so it's being used by Tufts Medical Center in Boston for their kids that they can't always pick up and see who are undergoing medical treatments and whatnot. So they wipe it down with like a painting camera.
So you said you've sold 1,500?
Yes. Yep.
So what's worked best for selling these?
Yeah, getting somebody who knows how to market, because I was trying to do too many things. But really, we've worked a lot with giveaways. Has been really helpful in the last 3 to 4 months. We've
to mommy bloggers.
Yeah, to mommy bloggers as well as to similar brands who are slightly larger than us, less new to the market, but have a bigger fan base. So we will partner with them for, hey, one lucky winner will get a Tranquilo Mat and new breast pump. And then everyone signs up on their email, and by the end of it, all 2, 3, 4, however many companies are working together, end up with emails. In the last 2 months for Christmas holiday, we did 6 giveaways, and we grew our email list by 20,000 people. So.
Just curious, you know the book, The Happiest Baby on the Block?
I do. That's what this was based off.
Okay, so I'm just curious, have you tried sending one of these to that author?
So he actually has 2 competing products on the market. So if anyone has seen the viral video of, they call it the Robo Crib, and it's like a $1,200 bassinet that records when a baby's crying and then will rock it faster or slower.
Is that really the name of it? Robo Crib?
No, it's called the SNU, SNU or something like that. And he says it's like having a night nurse, although the night nurse changes diapers and leaves your baby, but the crib doesn't. So he has that product, and then he also has this thing called the baby shusher, which just goes shh until you turn it off. I did reach out to him originally, probably about 2 or 3 years ago, and was told that he doesn't endorse products, and then within 6 months, he came out with a baby shusher, and just about 2 months ago, he came out with this new, so
Yeah.
it's no wonder he doesn't endorse products.
Sorry.
Really quickly, Kai, I asked two things actually. One, what type of current customer feedback have you collected after sending out 1,500 units? And then secondly, what would you say is your main defensibility outside of the patent? Like, would it be my first market advantage, or your brand is the strongest, or what do you believe is your strongest defensibility?
Okay, so I'll start with customer feedback. So some of the feedback, like I said, was, so fortunately, before we ordered 2,000 units, we had customers say, maybe just turning it on and off themselves, so that was one bit of feedback. The foam that is going around is a neoprene, which is really high quality, which is great. However, we had some issues with the smell of the foam. So we had probably like maybe 1 in 100 mats that reeked like urine because of the off-gassing of improperly cured foam. So that was an issue, and it also shrunk. So it ended up causing like impingements on the motors and difficulty with the product working. So that was an issue certainly that we dealt with. And then there are a few kids, probably again maybe 1 in 100, that absolutely hate vibrations of some kind. There's nothing formal about that, but in my medical opinion and based on the kids that I've personally known that don't like the product, it's often because they have some kind of underlying like sensory disorder or some kind of other issue that can't be diagnosed so young. But that's kind of the negative feedback. The other feedback is like, this is amazing. We use it every day. I mean, like literally parents are like, we take it to the gym, we take it to grandma's, we take it on the plane, we use it every night for 12 hours. It's the first time my kids slept in 16 months of their life all night. Thank you.
Are you collecting these testimonials and
Yes.
using them in your marketing?
Yep,
That's great.
yep. They're in this page deck somewhere. And we have a ton on our website as well that are much longer. Yeah, so it's a lifesaver, most essential baby item, works like magic, just 3 of maybe dozens.
Have you had any sort of PR coverage and publications, like beyond the blogs, but?
So we've only gotten some coverage in Boston Magazine, but we haven't done a full-on PR campaign. We do have an opportunity in February. That's kind of a nationwide U.S. media possibility we're looking into, and we're looking to hire a PR firm as well. So
This one, we have about 5 to 10 minutes for this. And when you have enough information that you are asking from Lisa, please start with some specific advice that you think is most relevant for her to move forward.
What's the uniqueness of the 2 patents that you have?
Oh yeah, so we had difficulty making sure that the vibrations would cover throughout the entire product. So the defensibility is particularly on the array of the motors, how they're allayed in the product, which is how we best found. We've moved to a different type of foam now, but that's how in both those types of foam you're able to get the vibrations throughout. So that's that patent. But I mean, I would say, going back to your question, I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked or forgot there. But 2 things, I would certainly say that the portability of our product and the versatility are 2 really important pieces, because our product can go on a plane. It can, I mean, you saw how light it is. It can go in a bag. It can go anywhere. And because it's moldable, it can go in a baby carrier. It can go in a car seat. It can go in a stroller. It can go in a crib, etc. And then the fact that I'm the expert, so to speak, that I'm the maternity nurse, that I have this background, that I did do Harvey Karp's training. I actually did a training based off, I did his specific Happiest Baby training, and then I did one through Massachusetts Department of Public Health, which is where I'm from, that was to become an infant crime specialist. So this kind of like, I know that this works. So those are kind of the top 3 things that are really position us better within the marketplace. So.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, just a real quick question. I mean, as far as competing products, is there anything that uses the 5 S's kind of in a similar way that would?
So there are things that use one, but not all of them. Even we don't use all of them. We only use 2. We use the constant motion and the sound. Swaddling is the other one. We could very easily with the cover add a swaddle blanket, like with like flaps and create a swaddle blanket. Sucking is one of them, so pacifiers is another piece. That's certainly something that once we've kind of got this product nailed down or we can scale with it, we will break into other soothing products. And the other products are mostly swings, which actually don't use white noise. They use these cutesy little lullabies, which don't actually work. And then there is that white noise machine by Harvey Karp that does just have the noise, but not the motion. And then this Robo Crib, which kind of does both, this snoo product. But it's very expensive.
I would consider that shading, yeah, for the price.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think getting into the suggestions a little bit, one little trick about patents is provisional patents are interesting because people cannot read what they are. So I would actually, I think you have a great product, and I think the fact that we all are continuing to ask questions and not rip you apart like we did everybody last night is kind of a sign of that. I'll kind of agreement there, but so in that case, then the defensibility becomes a much bigger question and focus. And what you could do here would be, if you're on the market, right? So the clock is ticking for competitors to knock off something similar. You could throw out a bunch of provisional patents, and they're not that expensive. You can do them yourself, and they don't even have to be all that legitimate, right? They can just get rejected. But the whole idea that you would have a bunch of provisionals out there that competitors would be like, oh, boy, okay, I'm going to wait a year and see what all of these end up to be, could scare people off a good bit for not that much money. There's also a number of programs out there. Huggies has a competition every year that has like a mommy competition every year that gets really good exposure for baby products. There's a few of those out there that I would really look strongly at. And I wouldn't go back to Harvey Karp, but I would not take no for an answer. This has got his name all over it. And I would either plug him until he has to give you, hey, I'm locked into these other guys and I've agreed not to work with any of their products. Or, you prove the sales and you say, hey, I'll give you, good deal, right? Whatever commission or whatever it is. But this is a 5S product. That's really what it is, right? And if you can get his endorsement and at that top level, that's a 100x sort of ramp up. And especially if you can do it early, that would make all the difference in the world.
You have to stock him to actually get it.
I would do it, literally.
I also should just say that we do have a continuation part on our patent filed for the heartbeat setting as well as that press and hold feature. And then I want to ask you kind of a return question. Would you do all the provisionals at once, or would you kind of stagger them so you can kind of keep that year clock going until you don't need it anymore?
I think you would. It's hard to say. I would have to look at the product and look at competing patents. I think fundamentally, I would try to make them legit, right? Try to make patents that actually could be patentable. With patents in general, there's two ways to get around them. One is to be more general, one is to be more specific. So you basically just look at what you've got, which is hopefully the best kind of patent for what you're doing, and then you look at how can you get around that in a more general way, and then how can you get around that in a more specific way. And we could help you with the technologies and so forth, but just really drill down to those. And I wouldn't, if you have the idea, I would do them all now, right? If you know of a potential way to say maybe it can work. And then as you get through the next year, okay, well that one isn't actually going to work, so we'll just let that go.
Yeah, what Greg just mentioned is something that we just went through in the past year. We know as a company that makes electronic cigarettes, hugely competitive in the market right now. We got a provisional patent got put forward before launching. We just launched last year, and then we fast-tracked the patent. But the whole point was just kind of like what Greg was saying, is like you could kind of below the radar, one can really see what that pattern is. It's sort of a very good strategy to use. I think particularly because your product could be looked at by some people as having sort of low barriers to entry because it looks like it can be copied. So you want to have, I would think that you want to have more of a general all-encompassing pattern in order to sort of defeat a lot of people, so they have to think about how to get around it and then go from there. But we're actually using a Boston-based law firm to help us with this, so I can do this because really cool.
You mentioned hiring a PR firm.
Yeah.
My agency does PR. I would not hire a PR firm for shoes.
Okay.
I know I offer that service, but unless this was a PR firm that had specific expertise in your domain and they had case studies, they proved a track record where it was planned, they would say, here's exactly how we're going to execute this, these are the results that we've got for other clients. There's so much you can do on your own, and even if you do hire them, you're in a great position to become an influencer within the space yourself and build yourself up, and you can use that influence to drive a lot of PR just by blogging, by getting out there, by speaking, by going to events, and building up your personal brand as an expert in this field, and then using that personal brand to market your products. There are people who do this and they can get 200 placements in publications for free because they're the expert that people recognize. And there's a lot of interest in this because everybody who has a baby is interested in this. There's very wide general interest. There are lots of PR opportunities for somebody who turns himself into an influencer. And you've got all the great rankings for this because you're a maternity nurse, you've already got the product, it's already successful, you know how to talk. I'm guessing you can probably write up a blog post without too much effort, and you've got medical backgrounds, details that you can throw in there to experience. And so I think you've got 90% of everything you need to go out and just start being that influencer and using that. And whether you hire the PR firm or not, you should be doing that influencer stuff.
Yeah, so our investments have worked with him as well, always produces good results. So I believe what he's saying about PR as well. Most importantly, I couldn't agree more about it's like you read my notes. I mean, and like you have that, so patents, of course, like that is a level of defensibility, but we all know in China sometimes there's ways to work around them as well. When you talked about how it's easy and convenient to carry around, I look at it and I see things, everything I see there, I know I can go get and recreate. But what is uniquely special about your product is you. And as he said, becoming the authority and the brand behind it and being the expert. It's going to be very hard to find someone who can replicate your background, your experience, and build this, and who has this product that exists already, right? So I'm totally aligned with what Josh said. And it's just, I think that is what's going for you the most. And you can, as he said, become that authority, and obviously you're good at communicating with the audience, you have the background to back it up. So I would just run with that and all your marketing stuff. Always get your face out there, let me know, like, this is me, here's what I've done, here's why I've made it, and here's why I did it. And that is not opinion, that is not subjective, it's not objective at all fact. So if people are going to argue with you, they're going to argue with science. And if you position it and message it the right way, then you're going to be able to, you inherently build that trust not only in your brand and in your product. And the positive tone of feedback you're getting can only amplify that. And then I wanted to get more like bootstrapping marketing strategies, referral programming, all those other fun stuff that you can do that really amplify it quickly. But if you have a home base, you can control the direction of those.
Yeah.
From a manufacturing perspective, absolutely, the BOM should be able to be reduced quite a bit. You do need to get those margins down to hit the big box stores. We can help you get in touch with those folks, certainly when that's ready. I think it's very doable. And we need to look at the specifics. Can't promise that we'll get there, but to me, I think that is the only thing that's stopping. I think just a little bit of refocusing on the marketing and really getting out there and making a product that can make the money, for the folks that need to help you get it to the customer